Hi, welcome back to the newest video snippet from Z-fari, the zombie novel. Today we're going to read the second part of chapter 20. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Here we go. Ready, boys? 2 buildings to go, and then we get to go back to camp and get lunch, Un told them. Lunch? Pump said. They're not meals, they're not ready, and you can't eat them. Pedwar must have been feeling better because he added, "Yep, but you get massive rectal explosions after you eat them." The men walked toward a long Quonset hut, probably 50 feet in length, finally becoming quiet as they came up to the building. Dow walked up to the metal arc of the roof that ran to the ground on both sides of the building. He took his rifle and smacked the stock against the building, making a hell of a racket. When I was a kid, whenever we did that with a wasp's nest, we had to run like hell and jump into the pond, or we'd get stung all over, he said with a grin. As if in answer to his childhood memory, a strange shuffling sound began inside the building, growing louder and nearing the building's lone door. "Shit," Dow said, moving backwards away from the building. The team had just enough time to form in an arc about 20 feet away from the door. "Careful," Bebe said. "Remember, we're looking for an undie wearing a burgundy silk smoking jacket. Shoot any of the rest of them, but we need to take that one back with us." "We've been plugging undies all day yesterday and all this morning. None with a regal jacket yet," Un said. "I know," Bebe agreed, "but we got to be careful and just shoot what we can eat." Pump grinned. Zombie burgers. Yum, yum, eat 'em up. Better than those fucking MREs." The door opened and a zombie shuffled out. A former female with a stringy reddish dirt hair, one through the forehead. Then another former female, almost bald, ragged, ripped Megadeth t-shirt, naked from the waist down. "Ugh," Ugg said, and nailed it in the mouth. Then a former male, saggy basketball shorts and a jersey. "Celtics." Dow took 2 to put that one down, one in the throat and the second up its nose. Then a former man with a loose purplish coat. "Hold it," Bebe shouted. "Don't shoot that one. That's Rick Donaldson. That's the one." Bebe slid the net gun off his shoulder and readied it for a shot. "Move back so I've got some room," Bebe yelled. He moved back about 15 feet and the others expanded their arc accordingly. Other zombies were, by this time, pouring out of the building, and the other sweepers were taking them down one at a time. Rick had been shuffling in Bebe's general direction when it first shambled out of the Quonset hut, but now it was veering off to Bebe's left, toward Dow. Bebe shook his head and, amazed that he was actually doing this, ran up to Rick within 5 feet, waved his arms and yelled, "Hey, Rick! Rick! Hey, zombie boy, come and get me!" before moving back away a few feet. Bebe had to taunt the zombie 3 times before it seemed to realize there was a new prey, just asking for it a few feet away. Rick turned toward Bebe and tottered in his direction. Bebe backed up a few feet at a time. Rick was focused on him. Bebe retreated about 10 feet further, now about 20 feet from the zombie, aimed the net gun and fired. The net flew over Rick's head. Fuck. Rick was unfazed by Bebe's failed attack. It lurched closer. Bebe reloaded the net gun and readied it again. Rick was by this time about 10 feet in front of Bebe. Bebe fired again and wrapped Rick up in the cocooning net. "Got it. I got it, boys, I got it. Finish those undies off. I've got a hankering for a decent meal," Bebe hollered. Pump shouted back, "Well, you sure ain't going to get one with those MREs," and shot at once little girl, the 9mm round busting up its braces before tearing off the back of its head. By the time all the undead had wobbled out of the building and the sweepers had taken them down, the team had used almost all of its ammo. There must have been 100 undies in that hive. Now the ground in front of the door to the big building was covered in bodies, undead bodies. Rick was wrapped up in the netting but could still move. Bebe took some zip ties from his little pack. Double cuffs for Rick's wrists and ankles. He had a coil of rope, but Bebe hesitated before using it to immobilize Rick. "Want a hand, Bebe?" Pump asked. "Sure, Pump, thanks," Bebe replied. "I've done this a few times," Pump explained, quickly and expertly hog-tying Rick for easy transport. Bebe didn't want to know how Pump learned this particular skill. Dow, Pedwar, and Pump hoisted the now immobile Rick and carried him between them. It took 5 minutes to tote the zombie back to the post office. There was no way they were going to get the undie up the interior stairs. The 4 men laid it down on the west wall of the building, and Un and Dow stood guard while the rest of the team went up on the roof. Bebe reported the capture to Ritter. The man nodded and took out his phone, punched an auto-dial number, waited 2 seconds for the call to be answered, and said, "Got him." Then he turned to Bebe, Pedwar, and Pump. "Good work," he said, "and We'll have pickup in 20 minutes. He turned to Ike, Tree, and Quay, including Bebe, Pedwar, and Pump in his orders, and told them, let's get this equipment ready for transport. You have 15 minutes. Rats, Pump said. No time for any meals rejected by the enemy. Everyone got to work. And 18 minutes later, they heard the unmistakable chop of the helicopter blades. The chopper hovered when it arrived. Lines were dropped from the copter's open door, and cables were lowered to winch the equipment up to be stowed for travel. Once the equipment had been hauled up, Rick was hauled up to be transported, hanging underneath the helicopter. Finally, Riddick, his team, and Ike and Bebe were hauled up. The chopper landed at Donaldson's compound 15 minutes later.